क्या बोला उसको?
मैं वेंसडे पे आ सकती हूँ। वेंसडे पे
ठीक है।
He's the one in your class. I can. You remember? I did not mind at all. No, sure, I can come on and stuff.
उसकी लीवा? खुद ईवा क्या लीवी थी?
No, उसको नहीं मैंने
फिर किसको किया था?
क्या चलो?
जो भी कुछ है उसको बोला तूने?
हाँ, उसी को तो बोला ठीक है, 2 दिन तो मैंने Then can I watch on your phone?
Hadi, please, I have a class going on. Be quiet. दादा इसका पास ये दे दो, चार्जर दे दो इधर.
Sit down. No, I don't want to watch it.
Go both of you get
Then
lost.
I'm not going to watch it. What do you want to watch? Sit down. I'm not going to watch it. What do you want? I want to watch Pete, Pop. Paw Patrol? I think Paw Patrol on this. Wait. I put it on big phone so you can watch Paw Patrol. Superhero Paw Patrol or which one?
मैं कैसे पढ़ाऊंगी, दिमाग ठीक है?
Oh, what's going on? Okay, no problem. Put it on not on 10. Mama, no. Daddy.
They behave na patkun.
Hello.
Hello, hi. Hi,
Good morning.
good morning. How are you? I'm not able.
I'm good.
No, let me see. Are you able to see me?
Yes.
Oh yes. Welcome, my dear. So your name is Femi. Sorry, I was running. So that's the reason. We'll just wait. You would be here, then you will give a quick intro about that. We will also look into, we have been through a couple of chapters. We have covered around 1 to 9. I will cover them with you. Okay, so you don't need to worry about it. If at any point, because the other students, the other 2 students, they are aware of the other those chapters. If things are not clear to you, you can always ask questions. No need to worry about it. Do you have any background from healthcare before?
I studied. I took science till class 10, and after that I took arts.
Okay, and then you took arts. No problem. So just a quick briefing. This once you start to work, the important thing to know about this social worker support or CHW, it has different names in different places where you work. See you as a support worker, some people see you as a community health worker if you work in a community. If you work in a hospital, they will call you as HCA healthcare aides. This is the first step of medical system in Canada. And always remember, you are the eyes, arms, legs of your patients. If things you can pick up, we would not be, the other person would not recognize, and it can lead to some of the disasters. That's why your role is very, very important. Other than that, it also, I just want to say, you do not have a scope of practice, but at times you have scope of practice. Saying that you do not, scope of practice is you don't have guidelines from a regulatory body, but your regulatory body is welcome, Amrit.
Yeah. Hi.
We have new person here with us.
Okay.
We'll wait for Nima, and then she will give us some introduction. We will give her a warm welcome.
Okay.
It's Amrit. He will introduce himself to you. Let's wait for Nima to come in, and I believe then we will start around at some point. I will also send you the slides on your email for whatever you have missed, and we'll go through it at a point where others would not be there. You and me would be there, and we'll finish it up. Okay?
दिखाया कुछ है ना EMP
The wonderful to be in this profession, healthcare profession. I would say you will like it. Welcome. But don't worry. Initially, you might get burned out because when you're working in especially in healthcare, it is sometimes burning you out easily. You can always manage to work the number of hours you want to work, not the number of hours somebody wants. You can start up slowly with being casual or being on a small line where you will have benefits and everything. And then you can work as full time. Depends on how you like it, how much you can put up with it. I'm not sure. Let me call Nima and we'll see if she's coming. Saida, can you give me the phone please for a moment? It's always we have to call. Sorry, my dear. हेलो अस्सलाम वालेकुम। हाँ जी, जीशन भाई इसने आना है, क्या नाम है इसका, नीमा ने कि नहीं? वो इस पे तो नहीं है दो, शी इज नॉट ऑन here. तो हाँ जी प्लीज if you can जी, because we are waiting, otherwise we will start. ठीक है ना? अल्लाह हाफिज। अल्लाह हाफिज।
You're from Pakistan?
No. Yeah, you can say Pakistan. I'm from Kashmir. It is an occupied land between India and it's a conflict between India and Pakistan.
Oh,
which place in Kashmir?
I'm from Srinagar.
Oh, it's a beautiful place.
Yes, that's a very beautiful place. That's why it is a conflict between India and Pakistan.
Yeah, I've been to Gulmarg a couple of times. So
Oh,
I like
beautiful. That Amrit,
Yeah.
that's a very beautiful place. Gulmarg is a very wonderful place. So you have been to Kashmir.
One of my friends, they are like they are Hindus, like the Kashmiri
Yes.
Pandits, Tikkus, and they manage the NAVSAT system for the military. So I've
Yeah.
worked with them. So that's
You work with them. Yeah. That's good. See, world is short.
yeah.
Where are you originally from?
I'm from Bhutan.
From Bhutan, and you're from Punjab, right? If I'm not guessing wrong. Indian.
Sorry.
I said you're from Bhutan, and Amrit is from Punjab, right? Amrit?
Oh,
Yeah,
yes.
from Chandigarh basically.
Chandigarh, okay. And then you're
Yeah.
from Bhutan. जी जीशान भाई हम यार तीन हाँ हाँ मैं नीमा के
Pema.
बाकी
My name.
तीन नीमा 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 okay Allah Hafiz. Yes my dear.
My name is Pema.
Pima. We have Nima also and Pima. So we have to be very careful when we would be
Oh,
talking. Yes. The
my
other
name.
student, it's very close by. See, this is another thing we will have to look back when we are dealing with our patients and clients. We have Mr. Singh, Smith and Smith, Mrs. Smith, Mrs. Smith. So we'll have to have a name alert very much in the hospitals and in the settings. You'll have two people, so you'll have to be very careful when you're dealing with them.
Is that the Buddhist student?
The other student, yes, she is. We are just waiting. We'll wait for 5 minutes more for her to see. Maybe she comes. I don't know what's wrong with her, why she's not today here. Otherwise, she should be here.
So I just received a call from the office
I
saying,
know. I told him Nima. I know. I told him Nima, and he heard Pima. So that's why he gave you a call, and you told him I'm already there.
yeah,
I'm so sorry about that.
that doesn't matter. It's fine.
Thank you.
Where do you stay, ma'am?
Just I right now I'm living in Burnaby, and I quite a number of jobs. Basically, I'm a physician, and I work in Royal Columbian Hospital emergency. I also work at Home Support Delta as a nurse supervisor. I work at Eagle Ridge Hospital as an LPN casual. And besides, I have been teaching at various colleges from past 8 years.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
You super busy woman.
Yes, and I have a son who is just sitting by my side, who is 5 years old, and I have a 2-year-old boy. I also have a daughter who's 9 years old, so 11 years old now.
Crazy.
So I am really, really a busy mom.
Okay. I'm actually new here. It's been like 2 weeks since we reached
Oh,
Iran.
are you here with your family?
No, me and my husband.
You and your husband. Where are you living right now?
Here at Vancouver, BC.
Oh, Vancouver. You're living in Vancouver.
That's good.
If there's anything we can help you with, feel free to ask. I will leave you my number later on. It's not only about school. If ever you need any help, you can always give me a call and we will be there. You can text me, hey, it's Prima here. If there's anything we can help you, definitely we'll be there. Okay, my husband and me are here. My husband is also a physician, so we can always try to help. No problems. Okay. I don't think so. She's coming. Let us see what we can do. And let's see where.
Ma'am, are we referring our textbook? Because I left my textbook there at the office, like locker.
It's okay, no problems. What I would do is I will share my slides for today, and we will be going to school soon. And from there, let's see, we will go back and we'll do it. But I would share my slides with you guys here today. Yeah. Let's do this. Okay. Am I sign out? Am I?
So heavy.
I'll just
Oh
put.
my God.
Lily, and it's okay. We'll just start the class. I don't wanna.
Some honey. I take the
Okay.
엄마 진짜로 원 준다고 전화. 나 우주 좋아.
Okay. I would share my screen with you guys. Just in 1 minute. And then it is my share screen. Okay, guys. Can you see the screen now?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Today, we are going to talk about working with clients and their facilities, families. Just a quick rundown so that you're not lost.
Okay.
I'll just give you a quick rundown. When we talk about patients, patients are those who are in hospital, clients are those who are in community, and residents are those who are in facilities. It's the same name, same group of people, but they are in different places and called by different names. You have different names at different places. You will be called as a healthcare aide in hospital. You will be called as a support worker in facilities. And if you work in home health, you will be called as CHWs. Normally, the role that you play is you help people, you help patients, residents, or clients wherever you are working with their activities of daily living, which is changing clothes, giving them a brush, hairbrush, washing them, maybe changing a brief, helping them with food, feeding them, could be shower, depends which place are you working with. Or you might also be acting like as an IADLS, which is activate in, you are an instrumental person, means that when you are working in a home support, you are an instrument for the nurse. The job of nurse is to give medications. Your job normally is not to give medications, but when it comes to home support, you are the one who will be giving medications. That's when you become AIADLS, activities of instrumental daily living. You are being used by somebody. This is just a quick I can give you. For you as a support worker or as a CHW or as a care aide, you have to make sure you are helping your client with dignity, you're promoting independence, you are giving them a sense that they do have their own respect, you prevent their privacy, you are helping them with their basic needs. Also, you are keeping everything confidential. Means if you are working and the sun comes in, you're not the one who will disclose information, everything to the sun. In Canada, we do not disclose any information unless the person authorizes. I will give you a case scenario quickly, saying a husband and wife together lived for here, they were married for 54 years, and the husband did not want to tell the wife her diagnosis. Just because the wife, normally what we do if a wife comes in, hey, tell the support worker or nurse, what's wrong with my husband? We would go and simply say, this is the diagnosis. But always you have to go and check on the file, see who is the SDM or next of kin. SDM is the one who makes substitute decision maker, who is the one who makes the decision for that client, or who's next of kin who will be notified This is same, SDM and next of kin is the same, but it depends on the place where you work. So you cannot give any information to anybody. You might go and check, say, hey, I'm coming back, I will just get you some information and I will check who is the person to be notified. Then you give them any piece of information that is needed. When we come to why I'm trying to tell you this, when it comes to families, we work with patients, we work with clients from the age group of, we can say, newborns till older adults. If you work in maternity, you might deal with pregnant moms, you might deal with newborns. If you work in facilities, hospitals, you might see older adults, age 85, 95, 92, 100, whom you're dealing with. Some, they are oriented, that means they do know where they are, they do know who they are, they do know what they need. But some, they are dementiated, they do not know what they are doing. They do not know who they are. And there are some people who also are like, who really don't remember the new things. They have Alzheimer's, they only remember past. And the families are the people who are making a decision. That doesn't mean one son will come say, yes, do it. The other son will come, no, don't do it. That's why we need one person on file who needs to make a decision, who needs to be notified of what is going good or what is going wrong. And clients sometimes do want some procedures or do not want some procedure, but families do want and do not want. So our focus should be our client. Our focus should not be our families. Your relationship with a client, now we will talk about it. A relationship in connection between two or more people and is shaped by roles, feelings, and interactions of those who are involved. Personal relationship and professional relationship. Yes, sometimes when we are taking care of a client and it's been a long time you're working in that facility, you have this client for a very long time, we become emotional, we become personal, and we want to do things as we do it for our family. We always have to make sure that we should provide care to everyone, as same thinking, what if I was this person, how would I want to get the care? But you don't have to get emotionally connected, because once things change, you might get disrupted, it might give you a very big blow. So that's why we don't want to become emotionally attached. And professional boundings, we also have to make sure that if they offer, you go, home care means when you are providing care at their home. So if you are going to the client's home, helping her with, let's say, cooking, or helping her with feed, and then they offer you gifts and all, we cannot take gifts. Yes, they can bring in a coffee or some cookies for everybody, but normally they cannot give you gifts. We cannot offer, we cannot take money, we cannot take those things. You can give us a card, appreciation card, but not money from your clients. Sorry. It's saying professional boundaries. These are limitations on your behavior meant to protect vulnerable clients from caregiver who has access to private knowledge about them. Also, when a person is dependent upon another, the balance of power may not be equal. Being aware and trying to make allowances for potential imbalances of power is important in maintaining professional boundaries. So, let's say you, when you're working with the client, this client already has someone, could be a family member, could be a friend who's taking care of this person. They might want you to do things, they might want you to give care to this patient, which is not really meant, or which can be harmful, or which is not uh, liked by the client. Because my client is dementiated, or because my client is non-verbal. Non-verbal are those people who cannot say things from the words. They cannot speak, so they can't express themselves. They want you, oh, this person is 95-year-old. They want that person to go for a surgery. Think about it. At this point, if this person gets a surgery and might what is the consequences of this? This person might not survive. This person might not be able to get that thing really done, because the systems at the age of 95, would that be the same at the age of 70? Would that be the same at the age of 80, 30, 50? So we have to see, if we are going for some procedure, what is the effect of it? Does the client want that thing? If it's sometimes we have 96-year-old, 97-year-old people, old lady or a man who's in the hospital. They say, oh, no, to save my mother you can do resuscitation, or to save my dad you can do resuscitation. Resuscitation means CPR. In CPR we press forcefully with our hands to get their breath. This person is 97-year-old. It's very frail, it's very frail, is almost 40 or 50 kgs. Once we do CPR, his ribs gets broken. Think about it. Is that a procedure that should be done? Sometimes we need to convince families, saying, do you know what the end result of this would be? Are you aware of it? Because if we give him normal oxygen, if we increase the level of oxygen, if a respiratory or they might give him oxygen, they might want to revive him with that thing, may or may not be he will be alive. But when we are giving him resuscitation, honestly, trust me, they sometimes pass out because their ribs get broken, and these ribs, inside we have different organs, they puncture that. It is, we might get a breath, but they have painful death. That's why we need to have some boundaries. We need to look at things, how and when, to whom and with whom we need to talk to. That's why wherever you are, a patient has a specific orders and directive. There is a thing that is called most. When I get to a hospital, when I get to a facility, I decide what I want. If I am a person who cannot think right now, I am confused, I don't know what the doctor is talking, I really am all over the place, I'm dementiated, then there will be only one person again who will decide what we will be doing for the patient, what will be doing for the client, what would be the case scenario if something goes wrong. Do we give IVs? Do we do everything for that? Is he a full code? That means you resuscitate, you give IV, you give oxygen, you do all those things. But then about that, the doctor always talks to the family, tries to convince them depending on the age. And we are the ones who would be helping the other care staff, the other group, nurses, doctors, and all others to do those things. You do not have the right to force a client to do anything they do not wish to do. Again, we can't force anyone. We can't force them, hey, you need to eat. If they don't want to eat, they don't want to eat. We can always again ask politely, I'm just here to feed you, Mr. Smith. I'll feed you. Do you want to eat? If they don't want to eat, second time, leave it. If they don't want to get out of the bed, okay, I came once, I came twice. You can't force. You can always ask politely, but not force people to do things. You always maintain confidentiality. You do not talk about the patient with their name or with their you can say nickname. You don't talk to any of your other co-workers in the hallway, in the cafeteria, or over the phone. You do not also share pictures. You don't share scenarios of your workplace with anybody. You don't go home and you say, this person from this community, world is a small place, it can get connected. We don't want confidentiality. Please do not. The only thing we have been seeing in Canada from a very long time is problems with confidentiality. Sometimes uh, unintentionally, we do give a small piece of information which leads to big disasters. Somebody comes in and they say, hey, I just want to know, is this person here? And you take the name because you are the person who takes care of every patient. You know the patient's name, but the patient does not want the family to know where they are. They are called do not acknowledge people. Then on their screen, computer screen, outside the where the name of the patients would be, it would be dash dash dash. So they don't know. But we accidentally, when we look at it, we give the yes, she is here. It's a big, big disaster. This will lead to police case. So please make sure when and the piece of information that you are giving should not be. You have to double check whether this needs to be given or not. Okay. Yes, my dear. Any questions?
So like regarding no, like ma'am told me that ma'am just mentioned about not telling the truth about if the family happens to ask the name, then
Yes.
in that kind of situation what should we do? Like should we say no or something like that
We,
in
we
order?
always say, we always say, we don't know. I don't know. I don't have access to it. Can you just check from the front? Or can you check from the nursing station? Can you check from the reception? If reception would give them that piece of information, okay, you're okay to do. But from my side, if this patient I see is always is under the name do not acknowledge DNA or blood and EEEESSSS aware thing, so that means we don't say, we don't give information. Other
Oh.
than that, also, if normally you are working and there's a family who comes in, the daughter came in yesterday, the son came in now, the wife came yesterday, and everybody asks you, how is he doing? Did he get a shower? Did it happen? Did he eat? How many people are we addressing every day? We can't address everyone. So what you do, you just say, okay, I'll be right back with you. Very politely, you go, you check who is the person who needs to be notified. You know what? For now, we have notified whosoever the person is about the updates. Um, you can ask that person, he will give you updates. Right now, he's here, he's doing very well. That's it.
Oh.
Any other thing you will not share unless it is there that you can share with the family. If that patient is or that client is cognitive, he or she can discuss it with the family. They would say, oh, he's telling me I had a CD yesterday.
Mhm.
You would say, I will go and check. Do not say yes and no. Always make sure the information that you are giving should be correct, should be updated. Okay, so we have to make sure all the time that the information, shh, both of you go. Sorry. So the piece of information that you are giving should be current, should be correct, and should be concise. We do not give too much information. Day before yesterday, she ate. Yesterday, he got a shower. Today, this thing happened. She just asked you, is he doing well? Yes, he's doing well. He's right now with you. Everything till now is okay. That piece of what other piece of information they might ask. When they ask, we will answer appropriately. Okay, Nima, can we have your camera on, please? Everybody who's online is supposed to have their cameras on while we are teaching. That's the rule, please. Thank you.
Ma'am, I have question again.
Yes, darling.
So like when the family member come and visit them, should we leave them, like give space, or like we
Yes.
we leave the room and
Yes,
go?
we should always give them a room. We should give them a time to talk to the family. But again, if a patient needs, let's say this patient needs a change, you always have to think critically. This patient, he peed or he pooed. Can we wait? No. Do not change the patient in front of. Just ask the family, can you just give me and the patient a moment? And then once I'm done, you can have your time. Change the patient, put the drapes on, close the door, and then change the patient. Sometimes when we turn the patient, because they are cognitive, they try to exaggerate. There are not people who are same, who have the same level of thinking. Not all people think good, and not all people, everybody is different. So what we do is we always ask them, can you please step outside? I'll just give the patient a change, or I'll just boost the patient, and then you can get it. Once that thing is done, if that patient needs to reposition, she or he is lying at the back, always, okay, I'll just put the head up and then leave them alone. We do not say anything. But again, couple of things, make sure. If your patient is a confused patient, let the family know. You know what? Before you leave, please let us know so that we can keep an eye on him or on her. She would otherwise jump out of the bed. Some people are like that. Some
Oh.
Sometimes your patients, they are on soft restraints. Soft restraints are like hmm, uh, those are small cotton wraps that we keep their hands closed and at one place, because some of them are confused. They have an IV, they have a colostomy bag, they try to take it out. That time we do have an order from the doctor to keep their hands at one place, a soft restraint. When families arrive, they say, oh, you can leave him for now. I'm at the bedside and we will help. Yes, we leave it open. But again, your job is to let the family know, hey, once you're done, please do let us know so that we can come in and watch. Then you put it back. Some people also are wanderers. They might leave the room and hide. So that time and when you open the restraint, not only your family should be notified. Go, go to the nursing station, whosoever the nurse is, or your supervisor, whoever is taking care of all those patients, let her know. The family asked, they asked to open the restraint. The client is not in a restraint. I let the restraint open. Now, whatever happens is not on your shoulders. You are not responsible. Family and your supervisor are responsible. So make sure once you are dealing with clients, with people, make yourself safe. Always report things that need to be reported. We don't report uh, things. Family is there. Family, okay. It's normal for them to visit. But if you did something, or let's say, another thing that I have already told other students, you have a patient, she's a very nice patient, always laughing, always in a good mood. And whenever the family members come, one of the family members, son, daughter, or wife, or whosoever visits, she gets upset. You might ask the patient, are you okay? Was this, I believe your family came in. How was your visit with your family? If they yes or no, based on those, they will try to open up. If ever you think they are silent, it means sometimes it might not be a good conversation. You will let your supervisor, nursing supervisor know. Hey, you know what? Sadi, get out, please. You will let them know. But I believe that the family of this patient or this room number or this resident client came in, and I feel that this client was not comfortable. We keep an eye on that client for next time visit, just because it can be a case of abuse. If you do not report, things will not be done. You will see my client was all absolutely nice. Somehow the family was there, you did not get a chance. Later, when you changed, there is a bruise. Hey, what happened? How did you get this bruise? Did you hit something? Ask your patient. Why? Because it could be again a case of abuse. They just want them to do some things. They want them to sell their place. They want them to sign a paper. They want them to get this will done. They sometimes might be abusive. Those are also things that you will see in facilities, residential. So keep an eye on your pay. Not all the time we ask our clients, but sometimes we use our eye. We have to be very diligent of what we are doing and what we are seeing. And trying to report, do not keep it to yourself, because if you keep it to yourself, then you are responsible for it. Always make sure it has been reported so that you are not the one who is responsible. Anyways, let's get back. Establish a professional helping relationship to help the client. Demonstrate the following: respect. Whenever you enter in your client's room, always knock the door and say, hey, good morning. My name is blah, blah, blah. I'm here to help you. So if you are new to that client, you might ask the client's name. If you know that name and know that person, you would call them, hi Margaret, hi Mr. Smith, I'm here, it's me Amber here, I will give you a wash. Do not rip, do not give them any care without letting them know. Think, if I am a person and I am getting fed by someone, somebody is going to feed me, and I don't know, I will just get, you will be stuck. You would not like it. So before you feed the patient, before you give the shower, before you give them a sponge bath, before you change them, do let them know what we are doing, just to give them a sense of respect, a sense that they are not vegetative. Compassion, empathy, be in their shoes, sympathy, show love, self-awareness, yes. Independence, dependence, and interdependence. Independence, a state of not relying on others for control or authority, ability to direct our own life. We know. Just give me one more. Independence is, we always say, as support workers, as nurses, um, as an OT, as a PT, we always promote independence. Saying, you have a client, hey, can you hold this and brush your teeth? This is how we promote independence. Yes, Mr. Smith, yeah, I'm gonna give you, we're gonna give you a wash. This is your washcloth. Can you wipe your face while I wash your body? While I wipe your body. Saying, if you are repositioning or changing the brief, you would say, can you please turn on your left side? If you are repositioning them, can you help with your can you push with your legs so that you don't have to lift them? You don't break your back, because you yourself are very, very important. Client is an elderly client. He might not live or might live for some years, but you, being young, you have a career to follow. You have a life to live. And if you do something which is not really, really right, if you, let's say you have a patient who is very, very heavy, you did reposition the patient yourself. You are in trouble, you will not be covered by birth state. They will ask you why you did not use a ceiling lift, why you did not ask help, because this is your mistake. Rather, if you go ask for another care staff to come in, it doesn't have to be same person who, from your group. You can even ask a nurse, hey, this patient is very heavy. I can't reposition this patient of my own. I can give this patient a change of my own, or I cannot make this patient sit in the chair of my own. Would you please mind helping me? Give me a hand. One moment. Go with your brother and play. Dependence. Now, a state of relying on others for support and being unable to manage without help. Some people, they are really dependent on you. They are paraplegic, they are disabled, they are confused, they don't know how to do things, or sometimes it can be not only those, but newly women who gave birth, a newly diagnosed patient with cancer and had a surgery, a new patient who had diabetes, lost his or her foot. So those people, they are dependent on you. They can do things of their own. They don't, not only physically, but mentally also they depend on you. Emotionally, they depend on you. They want to talk about what they feel like. Hey, hi, Mrs. Smith, I'm here. I feel like today you're not yourself. You're not feeling very happy. Is there anything that I can help you? Do you want to share with something with me? Somebody is there. Would you like to share your opinion about how you did yesterday? How was your surgery? What happened? How did it go? So those things are some of the things that how we help them and how they are dependent on us. There are people who have no problem, but you might be familiar or not, might not be familiar. They have Parkinson's. During Parkinson's, the only problem they have is they shake.
Mhm.
So this shaking is they can do everything of themselves. But when they shake, can they put their stove on? Can they put things on their stove? Or when they are feeding themselves, can they feed? No. Your job for that client might be to help the client with some preparation of food. Your job might be feeding. When it comes to feeding, always make sure we don't push so much in their mouth, right? If you are feeding the patient, make sure you see, is my client able to swallow? Might be today the food that we had, she choked on it. She's kind of choking on the fish. She's kind of choking on this brown rice that the facility is providing. That time, we are the ones who report, hey, there are episodes of choking with this client on food. They might get it pureed. They might get it minced. Next time, they inform the kitchen when you're sending food for the client, when you're sending food for this patient in bed 201, bed 206, please make sure that this is minced or this is a pureed. Sometimes not about food. You offered your client water. She choked on it because they cannot swallow thin fluids. So once they drink water, they drink juice, you offer them juice, you offer them tea, they choke on it. You are the ones who would report, hey, today when we were at lunch or we were at breakfast or dinner, we saw that this person blah 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 was choking on some fluids. Okay, they will report and they will put it on the file. A special group of people known as SLP, speech language therapists, would come. They have a kit, they try every kind of food that they have, puree, thicken, thin. They come to know, yes, this patient, they do a swallowing test, they come to know on what things they swallow, they choke, then they give you a specific diet. Okay, whenever you are feeding him or her water, mix a thickener. So we are the ones who are mixing this thickener for them. Yeah, that's how we do. That is this dependence. They can go and ask, they can inform. So they are dependent on your decision, on what you see. Interdependence, a state of relying on one another. Each person relies on the other group. When you are providing care, it's not only your clients are dependent on you. When you are giving care to your patient, now you have to turn the client. Is it possible all the time that your patients can turn on the other side? No. You might need help. You are dependent on someone. Sometimes, not only this, when you have to put the patient up, sitting up in the chair, is it possible that you can do all the things alone? No, you might depend on your co-worker, you might depend on your nurse. You have to make sure that you need to toilet this client. The patient goes to the washroom. He or she uses a cane or she uses a walker, and you're holding the walker, but still something went wrong. Your patient is a little bit wobbly, it's not okay. You might ask for help. So we always depend on each other. When it comes to interdependence, it means you work with a number of group of people. If your patient, your client is not able to, let's say, stand properly, you need a physiotherapist for that. You need an occupational therapist. You cannot decide how she can walk, whether she uses a cane, whether we use a lift, whether we use a walker, whether we use a scooter. A nurse, a doctor cannot decide. A social worker, a support worker cannot decide. It is the physiotherapist, which we call PT, the occupational therapist, the short name is OT. You will not see physiotherapist and occupational therapist. You always will see PT and OT. Wherever you work, we call them as PT, OT, very short. They are the ones to decide. Now, when it comes to your client, she's always aggressive. Whenever you give care, she's yelling, she is pushing, she wants to hit. You are dependent. Again, a case of interdependence is you need help from your nurse to give her some medication which will calm them down so that you can provide care. So this is interdependence when you work with different group of people. Dependence when somebody depends on you or you depend on your co-worker. You might depend on the family to translate for the client. Not all the time our clients speak English. Not all the time our clients understand what we say or we understand our clients. Sometimes we depend on their family. They come in, oh, this person is saying something. Would you let us know what's wrong? We always, if there is a procedure that needs to be done, if the patient is going for any procedure, we do not involve the family. We do not ask the family to translate because they might put their own words. We always use a translator from the facility, from the residential home, or from the place Fraser Health, or when whatever group you're working with. The last resource when we don't get any help from anyone, then is the family. Independence, dependence, and interdependence. These are fundamental concepts in the professional helping relationship. An important goal of most clients is to achieve or maintain as much independence as possible. As a support worker, you must respect your client's choices. When you work in a facility, what you do, hey, today is Monday, you inform them what day it is today. Hi, Mrs. Smith, I'm here. Yeah, I'm back. Today is Monday. I will give you a quick shower. I'll give you a quick wash, or we'll just sit up in the chair for breakfast. Breakfast will be here soon. We'll just change. Do you have any preferences? She would say, I want to wear my yellow shirt today. You go in the cupboard, get the yellow shirt. Sometimes, would you like to drink, or do you want some milk in your tea? Do you want some milk in your coffee? Always try to give them choices so that they feel respected, they feel good about it. Clients must never feel that you are judging their decisions. It should never be like the things that they feel, oh, you know what, she is judging me. Sometimes, being a support worker, your job is to help them get a smoke. Hey, do you want them to go for a smoke? You will go accompany them, you will get them back. Okay. Self-esteem. What makes clients feel good about themselves? Think about it. If I do provide care to someone, or I get a care when nobody tells me what you will be doing to me, will I feel comfortable? No. If I instead come, introduce myself, ask you who you are, let you know what it is today, tell you, hey, you know what, in the next coming 10 minutes, we would be having breakfast soon. Here, we will just get ready for breakfast. The nurse would be here. She'll give you some medications. By the time I'll change you, we'll just get dressed up. We'll just brush our hair, and then it promotes self-esteem. It gives us a sense that yes, I'm somebody. At the same time, do also think you are a human being. If somebody is abusive to you, just go out of my room. You will have people like that. They will yell on you. Leave them alone, because your self-respect is also important. You yourself are important. It is not always, remember, giving care is as important as you getting back. We do not, neither we abuse anyone, neither we want somebody to abuse us. Policy of abuse is not accepted, neither giving, neither accepting. Somebody is abusive, get lost from it, go out, leave the room, let the patient stay in the room, let the resident be in the room, because your emotions are also important to us. You don't still go help her, she will push you and hit you. No. If she's yelling, if she doesn't want care, you're trying to get in, you just introduce yourself, it's done. Just go and say, hey, this person, we couldn't give care because she's aggressive, because she's yelling, whatever is the scenario, or she doesn't want care. Today she wants to sleep for some time. She refused breakfast. It's not like breakfast is here and then it's your job to feed 5 clients. You will push it. They don't want to eat it. They don't want to eat it. Let it be. You just respectfully ask, hey, once the breakfast is gone, you will get hungry. Would you like to eat? No. Okay. I might come back in 10 minutes. Let's leave it here. If they want to eat off their own, if they are able to, or after 10 minutes when you're done feeding another client or helping another client with something, or just distributing stuff, there are different things we are sure we have to do. You come back. Are you sure? You don't want me to feed you? You don't want to eat? Yes or no would be the last thing. Again, report it. Hey, today this person in room number this, she did not eat her breakfast. Or not all the time you have to go to the nurses. Most of the time, out of 100 out of 99 times, you have a chart where it says dinner, breakfast, lunch, dinner. The other page says toileted, how many times? BM, like did they poop? Shower, this is a file. And you put 70%, 20%. If they didn't eat anything, 0. The nurse herself at the end of the shift or between the shift, it's her job to see. You don't have to report. If there's no chart, if there's no way it has been reported that whether the patient ate or not, then you tell them. Because sometimes the patient might be diabetic, she might give her medications, or the patient is simply diabetic, hasn't eaten, after a while the sugar will go down, can have a fall, can have an episode of syncope. Things might change. She might have an right just because she did not eat. So if we do have chart, which is called a calorie count chart. If it is there, we do write how much the client ate. Well, fine. If there is nothing, then that is the time when we go and we tell our nurse, hey, just FYI, just to let you know that the client or the resident in room 206 or bed 206, he or she did not eat. She refused breakfast. So they are aware, we are not the ones who are responsible. They might ask the doctor for an IV line if she is refusing all the time, just because he or she should not get dehydrated. They start a line for him. Okay, so we are the ones, again, the eyes. We are the ones. Our decision, what we see, what we do, helps people a lot. Self-esteem can suffer when independence limitation are lost. Yes, of course. If I lose my independence, if I am not able to do the same job that I can do before, I always will have that low self-esteem. I will feel like I don't know what she is thinking of me. She might think I'm a parasite. I need help all the time. And elderly people who have been working throughout their life and suddenly now they need help in a lot of things, they think that they are a parasite. They really hesitate to say, I am in pain. Normally, I've seen this in too much in Chinese cultures as well. If they have pain, they do not tell. The elderly, they just keep it to themselves. They do not say, I have pain. This is a very common thing that happened. Sometimes women from East India, saying ladies who are Sadar ladies, a group of ladies from Sikh community, if they are older ladies, not men, ladies, they always tend to keep their pain. They never say they are in pain just because they think, oh, I'm troubling this person. Till they suffer, they don't let you know. So once you see somebody is like this, their face is like this, pick up those things. It means there's something wrong. She's lying in the bed, she has her legs all twisted, crumbled. It means she might be cold. She might be in pain. She might have some trouble. She's wet. Pick up those things because they have this low self-esteem. They think if I would say and ask some things, it is too much I'm asking. I'm bothering. Okay? Finding one's purpose can increase confidence. And when you go, oh, it's okay, I will do it for you. Here's a warm blanket. Do not hesitate. There's a call bell. Press this call bell. I'll come and help. They feel very, very confident about it. They will really feel good and they will say, thank you very much. You're just like my daughter. You're just like my son. You helped me. Sorry for this. I am bothering you. Let them know. This is my job. I'm here for you. We all are here for. Give them some confidence. Think, oh, I saw you standing, but you can't stand. You're not steady on your feet. Let me come and help you. This is a call bell. Next time, please, when you're getting out of the bed, press this call bell. I'll come and help you. So just let them know. Okay? Offer honest feedbacks in a gentle, supportive manner. But there are also clients who are, I would say, we shouldn't be using the word nuisance, but they're caller plus plus plus. You just change her, she will still press the call back. I need a change. We just changed you 5 minutes ago. I need water. The water is there. There are some people. No, I don't want this water. I want a new one. That time, we also ignore. So depends on what kind of situation you are in. You use your critical thinking based on where you are working. If we have a client who is always asking without any reason, once you start, okay, and remember this one thing in your life if you want to succeed. When you're going to a client, take wipes, clothes, whatever you need to give this patient, take together. And when you're leaving, before you leave the room, make sure the client, the light is on, the bedside table is there, everything is accessible. If they are using hearing aids, the hearing aids are on. If they're using glasses, the glasses are on. You are done with providing care. Ask them, before I leave, is there anything I need to help you with? I am going to another client. I might not be able to come back for you again. Because you do not want to come in one person's room again and again. When you're helping people, you will have a kind of a tray which on wheels, put a jug of water on it, have some Kleenex, have some paper glasses ready. And it should be outside the door. We do not get those things inside just because we don't know, somebody might be sick, might get a flu, it might get dirty. Have some extra wipes, extra pads, all sizes on it. If ever something goes wrong, it fell down, it got ripped, you don't have to go back to that utility room. You know what I mean? How much time will it take for you to go? So to save time, think critically. I'm going to this patient, she is a bedwetter. I might need a pad. I might take 2 pads with me. I might need a soaker pad. Soaker pad is what we put underneath so that the bed doesn't get wet. I might take some wipes with me. She might ask for water. I'll take a glass of water. So before you get into the room, make things possibly whatever you, and then you, before you leave, say, is there anything now I can do for you before I leave? I need to go to another client's room. I might not be able to come right away. That they know you can't help them right away. They will not call. Just because she needed water and you did not ask, you are not even halfway, she will call. And then it's not only she will call, sometimes they're so eager to get this glass of water, she will try to come out of the bed herself. Boom, she fell down. And then when we ask our family, I was looking for some water. Trust me, these things will happen. So before you leave your room, ask, is this the last thing I'm doing for you? Do you still need something? I might be able to come and check on you after a while. I have some other clients, other patients, other residents to finish up. Are you sure you don't need help with anything else? Done. Can you please get that Sudoku for me? And then they will sit and do that Sudoku. Can you just get that puzzle for me? They do. These are some of the things that otherwise she might want to go to that. And what time is my bingo? What time am I going for bingo? What time is recreation? Just because it is in her brain, she tries to come out of the bed and she falls. So let them finish them right away before you leave the room. Okay? That is how we have. The balance of power in professional relationship. When one person is dependent on other, the balance of power may not be equal. Yes, that is true. In some situations, it may lead to stronger persons abusing the dependent person. Sometimes it's not all the time we are abusing our clients. It is all the time our clients abuse us. Remember, always they are the ones, it is very less times we abuse them. And abuse does not only mean hitting, abuse means leaving your patient wet, unchanging your patients, not repositioning your patients, not helping them in bed making. They're left there, they were not cleaned up. They were never offered a washcloth. Okay, that is a kind of abuse we can do. Or we might say, don't press the call bell again and again. The words that we say is very rude. You can always say, you know what? This is very important. You only press it when we need it. We don't press it all the time. The way we deliver, the way we talk to them really, really matters. If your voice, the volume of your voice is, the tone of your voice is high, this high pitch becomes noise for them, it becomes an abuse for them. But at the same time, they come in, where is the nurse? I don't want to talk to you. They would say like that. It is abuse. They might use bad words. You would always say, hey, you know what? We don't accept abuse here, verbal abuse. I might come back later. And then that's it. If you want to get changed, you will have to respect, be kind, be mindful of what you're saying. No, get out. I can do of myself. Please do not use those words. I'm just going, I'll leave you alone. And that's what you leave. You do not stay back. You're feeding someone, she will just flip her hand because I don't want to eat. Okay, you don't want to eat? Please do not raise your hand. I don't want you to do this. This is abuse. Abuse is not accepted. Always make sure you remind yourself. It's not only your client's respect, self-respect, it is your self-respect as well. Whenever possible, okay, be aware of your power in professional relationship. Whenever possible, involve the client in solving problems and in making decisions that may arise. You are helping the client and somehow these shoes, they don't fit. Hey, how do, whatever name they have, how do you put it on? How do you open them? Sorry. Sometimes your job is to shave the client. It's a male patient today and they need to get a shave and it's their electric shaver. I've not used that electric shaver before. I'm providing the care first time. You might ask, hey, Mr. Smith, I am not familiar with this one. Would you mind showing me how you do it or how does it operates so that I can provide you care? So that is when you, sorry, don't know what. So that's how problem solving things can be done. Or would you mind doing this and I will stand with you and help you if you need help. It's not all the time you should be doing it. It can be done by them also. Shaving your male patients is most of the times you have to do. And you use their electric shavers, which we haven't used of our own. And then that time we ask our clients, can you tell me how you operate it? How this operates? And be careful when you're shaving, they will tell you, oh, wait, I hold my face like this. Then you shave it. So they demonstrate how they do it. how it becomes easy. Make life easy, make things possible. Client's family. A family is biological, legal, or social network of people who provide support for one another. Definitely. Families can take many different forms. Your client will determine who he or she regards as family members. Sometimes your client, even though it is their own family, they do not accept them as family. Their extended family, somebody who is not their own blood, somebody who is their friend, becomes a part of their family, becomes the person to be notified. Your role in assisting the family. You may assist the family in many different ways. You may care for a new mother and baby. I told you toddlers are older children. If you are working in a nursing home, you might see newborn baby, or in a hospital as well. You might see newborn, a mother who's pregnant, and it's her first time to be pregnant. She comes to the clinic you work in. It's not all the time you are only working in one place. You might be helping them in outpatient clinics. These clinics are a part of hospital. So they're new. I'm so stressed. I don't know what to do. We are the ones. Okay, take a deep breath. What are you worried about? Can you tell me how I can help you? What is worrying you? Giving them that support, consoling them is also a part of her. But at the same time, don't reassure people. Oh, everything is okay and everything will be fine. When we say this lady, her pregnancy is just going to get over because it's not at the right place. It's not where it should be, or she's losing a person comes to you, you're working in hospitals. When you work in Emerge, we do also have support workers who help us. Okay, and now a newly pregnant woman comes in. She's bleeding. I'm just worried I should not lose a baby. I should not lose my baby. And you are, as a support worker, helping her console. No, it's okay. You're not gonna lose your baby. We are with you. And in 5 minutes, she loses baby. So reassuring should not be done in a way, oh, let's hope for the best. Use the word, let's hope for the best. For now, how can I help you? Do you want some water? Do you want a warm blanket? Do you want to sit here? Do you want me to let your nurse know that you are in pain? You know what? There are different ways other than saying everything is okay. Everything is not okay. But you can say, we hope everything goes good with you and we hope everything becomes okay. This is how you would use the words. That's why when we are talking to someone, we have to make sure what and how we need to talk to them. Some words, if they are said in a way they can really hurt people, but the same words can be expressed in a way where it is pleasant. Somebody passes, oh, your family member died. If you say, oh, I'm so sorry about the loss, same opinion, said in a nice way, helps. So make sure what we are doing, different ways. Primary caregiver. Now, coming back. The person who assumes responsibilities for caring for person with illness, disability in the person's home. A primary caregiver is the same called as next of kin, is the same called as STM. It has again 3 words. It's the person who takes care of the person, who decides about the care of the patient, or who is taking the responsibility if things change, what would be the scenario. And sometimes these primary caregivers are really burnt out. They come to you just because I've been taking care of my dad for past 5 years. Now I just got a new job. uphill. Somewhere. I can no more. I have no more anyone to take care of my dad. Now he's in your facility. Please make sure how you guys help him. Oh, we can always ask, is there something specific your dad does in the morning? Your dad has some activities, so that we can always make sure, oh, you know what? He needs a midnight snack. He needs in the afternoon a cup of tea. Or he just gets confused by 5 o'clock. When when the family says those words, these things happen. Make sure the nurse also is there. Sometimes some nurses, not all nurses, some are so diligent and beautiful nurses when it comes to their client, and some they do not pay much attention when the family is there, what the family said. They just are want the diagnosis to be done, the medication to be done. That's not enough. If you do not talk to the family, you do not get to know about your client, you cannot help your client. The family is gone. Now the nurse goes and the client does not speak your language. You are screwed up. Guys, you are screwed up. But what if you ask, you know what? You ask about your client. Oh, she would say, my mom, she doesn't speak much English. She only speaks little English. That time you're aware. You would ask, what language does she speak? And you know, is there between us anybody who can speak this language? Sometimes they speak Spanish, they speak Mexican. We don't have somebody. Oh, you know what? Could you write some specific? Could you write what for us these words: water, pain, change, toilet, those things. Hungry. They will write it, and then you point out on these. They might read. This is when you pay attention to. When illness or disability occurs, the stress on all family members may be great and all have to cope up with it. When it comes to illnesses, when it comes to disability, your dad can no longer walk now. Your dad, he is retaining, he no longer can pee off his own. He would now go for a surgery, small surgery, and have a suprapubic catheter. It would be right away from his ureters. So sometimes it's too much stressful. Oh, okay, how would it happen? But he lives alone by himself. Who's going to take care of him now? You know what? Things change. So sometimes, I'm so sorry. Do you want some help? Should I let the nurse know? And then on top of it, you ask them, I will let the nurse know. She might get connected. She might get you connected with a social worker. This social worker takes responsibility and helps the patient or the client with financial issues. With this, that where this person is going to go. She doesn't have any home now. She lost her bed in the facility just because she's in the hospital for a couple of days. They could not keep the bed. She lost that bed. That is most of the times when they're in the facility and they come to the hospital. The hospital takes a while to diagnose the patient, to get things done. Then there was a surgery that needs to be done. Once the surgery is done, they all again kept the patient in observation. Finally, it is done after 20 days. In 20 days, they lost their bed. Somebody else in the residential care needed a bed, and the residential home got more money. They just offered that bed to, and this person lost the bed. Now where is she going to go? So you let them know. You know what? The family is very concerned that the patient or the client has lost their bed in the facility. Can we help? Can we get connected? That's how we help. Conflicts may take a form of expression of irritation, anger, bickering, and arguments. Sometimes when we are dealing with our clients, with our clients' families, and with our co-workers, we get into arguments. The family says, she said she did not eat yesterday. We did feed her, but she's saying she did not. They try to get, and it's all the time you're saying, she says, you all the time pull her very bad, you give her a scratch, you did it, blah, 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 blah. They have a lot of complaints. But those are not true complaints. The patient does not know what she or he is saying because they are confused. And when you try to convince them, saying, hey, your loved one is confused, does not know, this hasn't happened, they do not want to listen to you. You get into a point where it is, you are irritated, you have anger, you get into arguments. You just step away. Don't say anything, be silent, step away. Then think with whom I need to. Don't go back to the family again. You know what? Let the other nurse, let the other person talk to them. Let other person explain how it is. Oh, whenever I come, my mom is always wet. She's never been changed. She's always dirty. They never give her a shower. They never change her. Yes, because your mom, she throws up so many times the food. You have to be critically thinking how many times can we sometimes, or we did not get a time to change her. We simply, but they don't want to listen. It's first time it happened, but they make it all the time. You get angry, you get irritated. You needed, okay, I gave this person a shower last week. My co-worker is supposed to give them a shower today, but she left without giving a shower. And this client, no matter what, no, this is my shower day. I want to get a shower. It's not helpful. I get irritated, I am angry, and I really have something to say. My co-worker, there are people like that who know it's a shower day. They try to get busy stocking things here and there. They try to get busy with some, oh, you know what, I just got busy there, and they don't do their job well. And it's left for you.
But is it your fault that
No, it's not. That's what I'm trying to say. You need to step and stand with it. If your coworker did it one time, could be it is by chance or it is circumstances were like that and it happened. You don't say anything. Hey, I gave you, but you would go back to the coworker and say, you know what? I gave her a shower. I gave your client a shower yesterday. So if you don't mind, next week on Tuesday, it's my client's shower and you're working on day. Would you mind giving her a shower? Helping, bargaining, right? Or you would see the end of the shift, she would say, you got in, the patient is in poop. Some patients, residents, trust me, they have a habit to dig into their pads. He digged in the pads, his hands are full of poop, he touched things, things are full of poop, his bed is poop, everything is poop. What you do? Would you leave now you got in? Right away when you see things like that, you get irritated. You let them know. And what she would say, oh, you know what? This maybe it was at the end of the shift, it happened. Some support workers are like that. It was the end of the shift and it happened. I'm so sorry. When I was there, it didn't happen. But just because the patient was left for a longer time, it happened. What you do, you might ask someone else to come and help, and you will let them know this patient, he digs. One, we would put mittens on the patient's hands, just because this kind of scenario should not happen again. Use your critical thinking. If this patient digs in the hands, in the brief, and it had happened, put a mitten, make sure the mittens are on the patient's hand, he cannot dig. Secondly, keep an eye oh, next time it should not. If you see this thing is happening quite a number of times, not only it can be one patient, but it's different patients and they're not clean before the shift, before my shift, you would come and talk to them. You know what? Yeah, I just was randomly thinking about it, and I saw all the time when I come on my shift, there are patients who are soaked with poo or they're soaked with pee. They're not clean. So you remind her once, can you please make sure that your clients are changed before? If ever she doesn't, then you would let the nurse know, hey, this support worker or this care aide, whenever I come on shifts, her clients, her residents, her patients, they're always soaked. She never changes. And then the last person to report is your supervisor. That time you don't talk to them. You just go to your supervisor. I just wanted to talk to you regarding something. They will say, hey, come on, sit down, have a seat. I am not accusing someone. Use beautiful words. I'm not accusing someone, but I spoke already to Rita, and I let her know that her patients, they are almost all the time soaked. Uh, and when I come on the shift, but there is no change. They are still soaked. Would you mind talking to Rita? They will go and talk to Rita and let her remind her, do not leave your patient's bed. Do not leave your patient's in poop. If ever this thing happens and it gets reported, she will be, maybe they might not keep her for work. So that's how we handle. We go and talk gently first time. Second time, we simply go and talk to our supervisor. I don't want to talk to that person over and over again. I don't want to get into arguments. I don't want to do backbiting. I don't at the same time want myself, and I don't want to carry it home just because of this. I'm so stressed and I don't want to talk to my family because I'm upset. When you're upset, do you want to talk to your family? No, you don't want to talk to your family. And you are spoiling your good time with your loved ones. So that's why leave the stress, leave the anger off your workplace at workplace. Don't carry it to home. Always seek help. If you are burnt out, your shift was heavy, your clients are heavy, it is your moral duty to let your supervisor know. Hey, this lane A, the patients on the side, they are all two people, two-person assist that I need someone else to help with, but I'm doing it alone. I can't do it anymore. If you don't say, they won't get it. So always speak for yourself. I have people who are 5 out of 4 are on feed. It takes me time for feeding by the time it's lunch, breakfast, and dinner. Would you mind having someone who can feed? Because you are never working alone. At all times, the minimum amount of people from your own group will be 3. Not less than 3 people work. If you're even going to somebody's home and that person is 2%, you will be 2 people going in. Only if the person is independent, then that's a different scenario. Independent really means can do everything of his own. You just need to be there, standing and watching, just for safety reasons. That's not a big deal. But if your patient, if your clients, if your residents, they are people who need help, you need to speak up. From my side on lane A, everybody is almost 2% total care. Total care means that you do grooming, bathing, changing, brushing, everything, feeding, you do everything. They can do nothing for themselves. I have 4 of them. It's impossible for me to have 8 clients. What they do, they might not have known before, because some people pass away, they die. Then the person who gets in there is a total care and they don't pay attention to it. The other side has independent, or one person assists, one person assists, and you are the one who's working on this side. She's the one who's working on this side. Her clients are very independent, or one person is sick. She gets to do nothing much, and she's always moving here and there, enjoying her shift. She's on her breaks. You miss your breaks. Your clients are still not done because you have totals, or you have two people assist. What you do, they will break it down. Okay, you will go in these two rooms. She will go in these two rooms. You'll go in these two rooms. You'll go. She will have. Not only that, but on the breakfast table, I have 5 people. Out of 5, 4 are to be fed. I need to feed. Can you feed 4 people at one time? No. Breakfast is gone. They're still there. I need to get them down for bingo. I need to get them down for their appointments. They get late. Can someone help? Your co-worker will come and help feeding. Unless you don't speak for yourself, nothing can change. Sometimes members of healthcare team can help families resolve difficulties by encouraging communication or diffusing tense situations. Sometimes there are situations where with the families, there are things that should not happen. Again, if you are working at their place and the patient or your client or your resident complains that this person went into my because you were not supposed to enter into her room, you accidentally entered and they think you stole or you wanted to steal. They report, she checked all my stuff, she took this, and now this scenario is very, very thin. That time, sometimes we or your other co-workers or the other team members of the families, healthcare, they talk to the family, say, I'm so sorry, I would try to look into what happened. So we take a statement from your side, we take a statement from the client side, and then we come to it. When you go, I would give you another scenario. When I work at Delta Nursing, and Delta as a nurse supervisor, I had a case where a client had a dog. We reminded the client very number of times that you cannot have pets outside. Always remember, when you are going to somebody's home, no matter what kind of a pet it is, they need to be in a closed room or they need to be in the closed den, whatever they are. This client said, yes. But now, two CHWs went to give this client care. Both the care CHWs never reported that this dog used to be there and they used to puff this dog. One day something happened and she tried to lick the dog's. Dog tried to lick the this support worker's leg. She reported to us right away, he bit me. And this dog is more than 100,000. What you do? Seriously, it was an issue that kept on for a month. It went to nursing supervisor, it went to the manager, it went to Fraser Health top levels. It was so hard. Because the CHW said she bit me, this dog bit me, we had to kill the dog. Until that time, they did not report they were touching. This client was so clever, had a camera in his house. He sent us visuals that the CHWs were always touching the dog like this. Why the bloody hell did you do that? When your policy is strictly telling you no pets. If you saw a pet, you should have right away stepped out, gave a call to your nursing supervisor. Hey, I'm just here outside Mr. Blah BBB's room. I'm just standing just because a pet is out. We give them a call. We give their loved ones a call. Can you put the pet in? Our support worker is here. Our CHW is here to give the care. If they can do it, okay, she'll come back tomorrow. Your visit for today is done. You are safe. but you touched it. Both of them are now in a trouble. We had to send policies to that. He said, why did your support workers touch the dog? And that time, the other thing she said, then she said, my English is not good. I said bit. He did not bit, he lick. Now, because you said this word bit or you said this word lick and you touch the client's dog every day, the client is ready to sue you. Okay, so please make sure, abide by the policies. Every client is unique. Some clients are so beautiful, they will prepare things for you, they know you're coming, they're very good at you. Some clients are very clever, they might not act as they act. They know what they want, they know what to do. So be very mindful. Don't ever go above your policy. You are there for 15 minutes, you were giving care, it took long, she's sick today, always report. Hey, I'm running late. I was helping client at this address. We let the next client know we will be there 10 minutes. Because we are late here 10 minutes, we will let other client that we are helping at home know our CHW will be there in 10 minutes. Before they report saying, she did not come in today. I needed to go to with my daughter. And these small things, they might pick up. Kya kar rahi hai? Are you mad? Then, please be careful. This is really, really happening. And we get so much stressed out when things like that happen. Use your common sense, what needs to be done at what time. You deal with the patient's family, you go there, your patient family is next sitting there. Okay, I'm just going to pull your pants. You pull the pants like this. Ask the family to go out. Even if you're pulling it up, there's something that we say critical thinking. They don't see. If they see you're struggling, they might see this co-worker does not know how to do this, her job. The CHW does not know how to help. So always ask them, can you step out while I provide care? And then you can come back in. So make sure those things are there. Diffusing tense situations are very, very difficult, but you have to also think about when you are diffusing situations, only touch the hand if appropriate. Only put your hand on the shoulder. Do not touch any other organ. Accidentally, you touched and it went on the side. It can become an abuse. They can sue you just because you touched inappropriate. And there's no way you are able to explain. If you know this is a community, this person belongs to a community where touch does not seem to be good. We know when we work, we know that if it's Asians, they don't really like too much touching. If it's a Canadian, they do like touching. You can pat them, mama, it's okay. But if it is Canadian who's a white redneck, we do not touch them. Make sure you ask before you touch. So that is when you do. This becomes a conflict. They say, I was being abused. I was being tortured. While you had no intention to do that. You must observe and report on family interactions. I already told you, and also be alert of signs of abuse. You went in, your client was happy, she was dancing, she was doing things before, and once the family came in, after that, she's almost in tears. Abused. You see a bruise, suddenly abused. Those are the signs when the families come in, and it happens because they're elderly, they want them to sign to go to sell their house. We have so many times those cases. She's just now quiet thinking what I will do. What happened? My daughter, she wants to get married. She wants to get her theme done, and she wants me to sell her house. She's just trying to convince me, and I don't want to do that. I start crying just because you ask. Otherwise, she's like silent. Just a while ago, she's nice, and every afternoon she's nice. But suddenly, and one of this family member, not all, but one of this family member, whenever she arrives, she's low, she's not in a mood, she's not happy. And you observe. Your observation really matters. It gives us information of what things and how things are being handled, how things are going on. Okay? Let's take a quick break for half an hour and we'll get back at 2 o'clock. How is that? Okay? Thank you.
Alhamdulillah.
Okay, my dear. Still have, we still have 5 minutes. Let's take those 5 minutes and everyone back.
Ma'am, have we decided for any dates regarding the labs?
I haven't decided, but by Monday I will decide because I
Okay.
really wanted you to be back. We also happy man. We are hoping to have one more person in right away. So I was thinking we can do the lab work together because your hands on is very, very important. If your return date is 12th, right? 12th of October.
Supposedly, like, yeah, but I don't know. I'm not sure about it. So as of now, it is 12th. But if
As of now,
uh,
it's 12th.
yeah,
So hopefully we will do it. Let's see what 12th is.
it's Thursday.
12, what day it is?
Thursday.
Thursday. We can do it on Friday then. If
Okay.
everyone, because we will be in class, not all the classes will be on Zoom, so we will go to school on Friday. Let's start on Friday. We'll have a lab work, and on Friday you will be submitting. You will start submitting slowly and slowly your workbooks and your um, papers that I will give it to you, hand it over to you. You can also get those from Evolve, but if there's any trouble that you are getting in, I can always submit it to you guys in an email and you can get it back to me. Okay.
Yep.
Another thing that I want to let you guys know, when it comes to working with your clients, you will always come across this. Oh, Maslow's hierarchy of needs. When we talk about this Maslow's hierarchy of needs, it is just a theory that they psychologically created, and this has a 5 tire. You will always say, oh, you don't know about the 5 tires? You don't know about the 5 tires model? What that is, it's based on what your basic needs is, then. It's just a pyramid composed of 5 layers. This pyramid that we have is first and foremost thing, our psychological needs, our physiological needs. Now, what is my bless you, what is my physiological and psychological? First, I breathe in air. Then I need some water. Then I need food for my survival. Where do I live? What is the shelter? How do I sleep? What do I wear? And then comes, keep going this cycle, reproduction. So if there's the first basic thing, if something goes wrong in this, do you think other things can be done? No. If you don't breathe, you must be thinking, oh, what's this? What it has to do with you? Or what it has to do with me? I have a patient. I have a client. I have a resident. What would you first go and check on him or her? This is very, very critical. You go in your patient's room, quickly see everybody is breathing. These are older adults. Not only older adults, but we are human beings. We can stop breathing anytime. That's when we say this air. So you go in your client's rooms, you see if they're sleeping, if they're breathing. While some people are sleeping, make sure they're breathing. And how do we? We don't wake them up. Hey, hello. We just go back near them and see the chest is moving. There's something moving in their body that gives us a notion, that gives us a small clue about patient breathing. We see our patient. She is so dark, her skin is so dry. What does this give you an info? This patient is not drinking well. He or she is dehydrated. So that's when this Maslow's theory comes into being. What we get to go from this is our patient breathing. Is our patient dehydrated? Is he drinking and eating well? Another thing, how is he? Is he able to, sometimes there are people who, myself, I cannot sleep in light. If there's the light open, I can't sleep. When I grow older, I get into a care home, I get into a nursing home. Things won't change by the time. It will get worse, right? And now I am left in a room which is just next to the hallway where the lights are dark. Think about it. We can always advocate, hey, this client, he or she has trouble sleeping during the night. Why don't we shift him or her to the other room? Or this client is sometimes there are 3 women and 1 male in one room. Okay. When there are 3 men and 1 woman, or 3 women and 1 male in a room, that person does not feel comfortable. Or a male is comfortable, the other 3 women are not comfortable. Could be vice versa. So we advocate for it. That's why these physiological needs are very, very important. Just to know, this is not what to do with shelter. This is just to know what is going on. Is our patient breathing? Is our patient dehydrated? Is she eating? Is she drinking well? Is it? I'm not able to sleep. If you're not able to sleep, one day don't sleep, next day think and see how you feel. You are almost lost, you are unsteady, you don't know, you might drop things. And think about the age as well. Now when they are 90, when they are 85, when they're 75, would it be the same way they can work and they can perform? No. What can we do for them to sleep? Hey, my client, she has been reporting, I'm not able to sleep. Tell the nurse, they might get them some sleeping aids. They give them melatonin and stuff that can help them sleep. यानी इसको अंदर ले जाओ पुत्र, आप भी अंदर बैठो. ये बात कर रहा है. No, it's not good. Take the phone, both of you go inside. जाओ पुत्र. So we have to think about how we are going to help our patients change clothings. As I mentioned to you, changing them, helping them, it is very important for us. It's right now winter time. Winter and fall is coming. My patient, we need to advocate if she needs something. Let the family know, hey, can you please drop off by this weekend or whenever you have time and get these things for your loved one. Not only that, a basic thing that is there is hip protectors. If you see our patient often has falls, what's the best thing to do? We can put a hip protector. If they fall or if they bump anything, the hip protector will protect them. It's still a part of clothing. So that's how this comes into being. Safety needs, always personal security. If you see the door, I mentioned earlier yesterday, you see a purple page in a flyer. You see a purple sticker dot, just a dot in a file. Or you see a purple thing outside the door. You might not know or you might not pay attention to it. That means this patient is AVB, aggressive violent behavior. Your exit for this patient should be next at your back. What if I get into the room and this patient is already upset? It doesn't matter, the doctor gets in, the nurse gets in, so the support worker gets in. But we are right now talking about support worker. We are talking about ourselves. So let's keep ourselves in the scenario. I get in, he already has something in hand, boom, wants to throw. So always maintain a distance from your client if he is inappropriate. Another thing, this person has a history. She's not AVB now, or he's not AVB now, but has a history of being aggressive, has a history of having behavioral issues. You just go and while you're changing, you do not pay attention, you do something wrong, she might hit. That's why always keep some distance from your patients. Next thing, your door. If something goes wrong, where is my exit? Can I go? You can be on the side where the exit is not there. If something goes wrong, you can run back. Do you get my point? So that is when it comes to safety. Also, safety for your patients. Keep the lab belt on, keep the call bell. If there's a belt, safety belt, if there's a bed alarm, make sure you put that. Some people, they run away. You will see a battery here, white color, which is called a wander guard. And this is there. Once they start to go more than 100 meters, beep, 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 beep. That means the patient is trying to escape. That's called a wander guard. We do keep them in hospitals. We do keep mostly they are in residential homes just because they wander. In hospitals, we do have them very less just because we get support workers to sit with each client, which is called one-to-one sitter. We don't want them to leave and we don't have so many things there. It's just what we do, we just get a person who sits next to them outside their bed and they watch them, they don't come up. You just say, go back, you redirect them every time. This is your patient safety. We talked about our own safety. We talked about our patient safety. Now we will talk about employment and employers and resources. If you happen to see in the hospital, you will see a hand always there outside the doors. No abuse. Do this, do that. You go inside your patient's room. Another way of safety needs is right now we're hit very badly with COVID. People are still having flus. What would it take for us when we go into the patient's room, client's room, or the family members, or go and abide by the rules of employment? Please sanitize your hands, use a mask is a safety need. Do you get me? So these are some of the things that we as an employer, we get from our employer, and we now you can only work, you can only get employment if you're vaccinated. If you're not vaccinated, does not mean that you won't get work, but you have to disclose the reason why I didn't want to get vaccinated. So that is another way, safety. Why do we want you guys to get? Because you might get exposed to it.
Ma'am, I just want to ask you, like, do like we have to get vaccinated all over again? Like,
No,
I
no,
don't
no.
have records back home from it, like 17
If
1979.
ever, yes, if ever you got vaccinated back home, you will not get it vaccinated now. With COVID vaccination, we are a bit okay. You don't want to get vaccinated, it's okay. But there is there are some vaccines that you have to. Flu vaccine, you have to get. If you are working, you need to get your flu vaccine done every year.
No, no,
That's
it's not about COVID. It's about like having all the that cholera, chicken
yes,
pox,
yes. That's
polio,
if you
and
are.
those things.
What we do is here when you arrive. Let's say you're not a born candidate here. You
Yep.
just arrived 10 years ago, 8 years ago, 5 years ago, or a year ago. They will give you. They will ask you, have you had these vaccinations? Yes. Okay. You get tested. They send you. They get your blood work done. With the blood work, they test what are these antibodies in there. If
Okay.
ever there is some antibodies that we don't have, they would tell you, oh, we did not find this. Maybe you got vaccinated, but it's still not in your blood. You need to get this one vaccine. So they do. And then once they see the antibodies, they will put a tick on it. Yes, it's there. That's how they test it. TB test, once you arrive, they will give you a skin test for TB. They inject that TB thing in your, they make it a patch, they will let you know, come back tomorrow. If it grows, oh, he might be exposed to TB or he might have TB. They will ask you if it grows, it's not a problem. Oh, my TB, it's more than this. I have TB. No, it can be you are working in an environment where people are exposed to TB. And if you are not a born Canadian, you are from any other country, at the time of birth in India, Pakistan, Nepal, Bhutan, all Asian countries, including China, they give TB vaccine at time of birth. It's only those developed countries, US, UK, and Australia, UK, Canada, Australia, they don't give this TB vaccine. So their TB will be negative. For us, it's positive. It does not mean we are having TB. We will have to go for a chest X-ray. Okay, chest X-ray is normal. Things are done. Take.
Okay.
That is one of the safeties. Another thing, resources. How do I get to know where? You know what? Another big thing. When you will be working, you know, every time with aging or with growing time and things, our facial bone structure changes. Look at your pictures a year ago and look at your pictures now. Do they sometimes look same? It might or might not, because our facial bones change. Same thing, we have an N95 mask that we say. We use it if there's a time of fire. We used it at the time of COVID. We used it at time of disease. This N95, when we have to use every year, it gets expired. So with this expiry, we do get that mask fitness test done. And that's when the resources are. What that resources? Where do I get this? Your employer will send you an email. Hey, tomorrow or next week, by chance, we are going to have a mask fit test. Whosoever your mask fitness test is expired can come and have it free. Your CPR, you always need to have a CPR. If your CPR is expired, you need to go get the resources from, go on pulses for Fraser Health people. pulses for when coastal health people. You go there, get it where I can get. Whether I get, and if you work, your employer will reimburse you. Means a part of it or full portion of it will be paid back to you. सायदा मैंने आपको कहा था बेटा इसको अंदर रखो, दरवाजा बंद करो. So again, if you are paying for, let's say, LPNs and RNs, they pay for their, they pay for their license, a fees. You pay a fee. Before, till last year, we used to get reimbursed half. Means we used to get half our payment back. But since this year started, we get full payment back. That means if I paid for my license $500, I will be reimbursed $500. That comes under resources. Again, you go on Pulse, you get that reimbursement form, fill it, send it off. Wherever you work with your employment, they will put it back for you. That's how this safety, love and belongings, another important thing that we have to keep in mind. When we give care, you know, when we are, even though if we have pets at home, keep a pet for a couple of days. We get affectionate with those. Simply, if you go and there's a lovely lady, there's a lovely man, every day you take care of him, you really get in love with those. Or you feel like, you still in back of mind, if he's not feeling well, I don't know what was wrong with him. He's not, you feel for them. Always make sure, do not create that kind of relationship which is hard to break. Sometimes you get so emotional when people pass away. You really need your to know and let your employer know that I need some time off to get myself back, because I feel for it. I am not myself. Do you get me? That's when love happens. Now talking about belongings, you cannot receive gifts from people. You cannot
No.
कोई बात so कोई बात नहीं इसको try कर खेलने की. So what we do is, when it comes to belongings, you have to make sure that you as a person do not accept things from someone. In general, they want to get some for everybody, that's fine, but you don't touch their belongings. Other thing, there's a patient who comes to you, who lives with you, or a resident. Make sure the family came in, they brought some clothes. Again, you are the ones who take care of them, send it for labeling. Get their clothes labeled so that once you send it for the laundry, when they come back, they have a permanent labeling there and it's not difficult where it goes. How can you remember in a facility where there are 50 people or 40 people, whose is this? Where does this belong to? Where to keep it? You might know. Another thing, if you are in hospital premises, patients move from emergency to other floors. They have their belongings with them. They have their phone with them. Make sure you go and ask the nurse for a label. Label the phone. If ever it is by chance left behind, we can always call them because we know their PHN number. PHN number means their personal health number. Every person in Canada has this specific PHN. It does not meet with SIN is different and PHN is different. SIN is the number that you work under. Do not share your SIN number with anybody other than your employer if required. You don't give your SIN number to anyone. Your PHN is the personal health number that we share when we get to go for tests. That's on your care card. So that care card gives us where he lives, what's his phone number. Hey, Mr. Smith, you just left your phone. We have it just because there was a sticker. There was a green bag. We put their belongings in bag and there was a label. So we know now who this thing belongs to. But if we don't have it, we might not know. This is our job to recognize the importance of these things. Esteem, respect others, and get respect. Do not only help others no matter how they treat you. No. Sorry. Respect is very important. If I'm teaching you, it doesn't mean I will superimpose things on you. I need to be gentle with you. I need to know the reason why you could not show up. I need to know why you couldn't do it. Rather, just say, get out of my class. There's a way we can fix things, right? Respect is important. Every person has their self-esteem. You don't work beyond your self-esteem. If your culture, if your religion, if your belief or morals do not let you do something, you don't do it. Recognize yourself, recognize your client. Know your strength, and also keep an eye on your patient's strength. Freedom, you have a right to refuse, your patient has a right to refuse all the time. If you're not comfortable doing something, you haven't done it, you have a right to refuse. If your patient does not want something, he or she has a right to say, no, I don't want you to do this. I don't want to get care from you. It's fine. Self-actualization, desire to become the most that one can be. You can always achieve whatever you want, which is called rise and shine. This was one of the pamphlets that we needed to cover in our on our wall before we start another chapter. I thought of going over this hierarchy so that it will give an eye on our newcomer as well to know what it is and what we are talking about. We don't want to talk about abuse only. I don't feel comfortable talking about abuse only, just the first stage. Let's see what else do we have on the wall today. Saida, भाई को क्यों तंग कर रहे हो? Leave the door open. आने दो उसको. What? नहीं मारो उसको. Okay. Okay. चुप चुप. Chop, chop. Okay. Huh? Cookie will give you cookie. Let's go cookie day, Jenny.
He wants this.
Acha cookie. So the next that we are going to talk about is our new share will be here soon. New share, a chapter, which is abuse. Where is that? I downloaded it. Sorry about that. Okay, my dear. Here we are. Are you able to see this now? We'll be talking about this chapter, abuse, bullying, and harassment awareness. When we talk about abuse, abuse is, let's fix this one first. Abuse is a physical or mental harm caused by someone in a position of trust, such as family member, a partner, or a caregiver. When we say abuse, it can be done by from a client, by a nurse, by a healthcare worker. Healthcare worker includes everyone starting from you to the top. Or we can say even by our own partners and people who are providing care. We are authorized caregivers. Some people have private caregivers. It can be that. Abuse implies a relationship between the abuser and the abused. So when we say abuse, there are two people. One is an abuser and the other person is the person who is abused. It can be a verbal abuse. When we say bad words, we use harsh words, we use a high tone, a high pitch, and it can be physical abuse, where physical abuse is when a person gets hit, a person is being pushed, pulled, or while we are providing care, we just provide care in a way it harms patient. Another type of abuse Another type of abuse that comes from us is if our patient is ignored. If you being a healthcare support worker, you ignore your patient might please your patient might become a case of um, who has ulcers now, who has bed sores, who is just who not clean, not hygienic, gets just because you did not clean, you did not offer a wipe, you did not wash his hands, did not help him, might get sick. So all those things when we talk about is a kind of abuse. The way abuse occurs at all social levels and in all cultures. We don't say abuse can be in one culture, abuse can be anywhere, it can be between anybody. We sometimes even we being parents, we might be abusive to our kids. Some kids, they might be abused by their own family members. Some kids, just because they are disabled, they are being foster parented by some other parents. The parents do not want to no more take care of the kids, so they are sent to be taken care by other people, which is called foster parenting. These foster parents are abusive. These kids or just because it's not their own kids, own parents, these kids can be an abuse for those foster parents. So it is not only one time, it can be vice versa. Anytime, any situation can be vice versa. Okay. Canadian Charter of Rights and Freedom. This Canadian Charter of Rights and Freedom will be there everywhere. No matter where you go, you become citizens of Canada. Before you take an oath, you will have a test that you will have to give. The Charter of Rights and Freedom is there. This Charter of Rights and Freedom is yes. This Charter of Rights and Freedom is somehow it goes all along with us. States that Canada's values equality, diversity, and that no one should be abused or has a right to treat others unfairly. It is very, very important. It's one of the things that is in the Charter of Acts.
Yeah.
Canadians are legally obligated to respect your rights and the rights of others. I respect you do not want to do this. Same, you need to respect. I can give care to you just because I'm a female. I'm not comfortable giving a care to the men, to a guy. You're respected. Your views and your opinions are respected. While you're giving, because we are giving care, sometimes we have to touch private parts. Some group of people, they are not comfortable. Women are not comfortable touching the male. Males are not comfortable to be touched by women, and vice versa. So that is when, yes, be quiet, quiet. That is when we use our freedom of right. When we say right to refuse. I have a right to refuse. My patient, my client has a right to refuse. Canadians, new immigrants, and visitors to Canada have numerous rights. I told you, when you go through this, I'm not pretty sure both of you, all three of you are born here or do have citizenship. When you go through it, they will give you a big sheet stating what your rights and what you would be doing. And you have to remember, then you will have questions in your citizenship based on that. There's a book for this. And if ever you have to prepare for your citizenship, go online, Richmond, under Richmond Library, you will get those questions and learn them by heart so that you can pass it for the first time. Otherwise, it will take time for you. Okay, let's move on. Type of abuse, physical abuse. Physical abuse is force or violence causing pain, injury, and sometimes death. We don't say only we are the ones doing abuse. Again, private caregivers, any caregiver might push the patient, hurry up, do this, pull it without asking. So they might get hurt. They are elderly. They hit their elbow. They hit their leg. It can end up with a surgery. She got up just because we pulled and she was in hurry. She just tripped over. So things happen. Sexual abuse. Unwanted sexual activity, including harassment, non-conduct. This cannot, no matter what we do, it cannot be forgiven in Canadian system. Emotional words that we say that will affect their mental health. There are people with whom you will work, and there are clients with whom you will work. Both would say, we got a mental harm from you. We got mental abuse from you just because you told me this thing, it mentally hurt me. So please and please be very careful about it. When you work with people, you tell them, I can do this for you every day. Seriously, they say this is an abuse for you, especially white. So when you're dealing with your white people, you may be very mindful about this, because it's not that do it. You see, I'm looking at this picture right now. My kids, they are born here. Their level of stress is not same when I was a child. I don't know, it is in this land or what. The level of stress is different for them. I remember my childhood. I used to take up when I was a 5th grade or a 4th grade, I had a bag of books I had to carry and I had to learn so much. Even though they are in the 5th grade, they're still struggling with ABCs, and it's not a difficult thing for them. Most of them don't know their numbers. Most of them don't know how to write in a line. And we, as kids back home, we had to struggle with our grades, and we had to cram the history and stuff like that. Our level of stress is different. We don't think, for us, things are not abuse. So we should not treat We should not superimpose. Because it's not an abuse for me, does not mean it's not an abuse for the other person. So please make sure, watch out. Watch out for the signs of abuse. Okay. Types of abuse, finance can be one of the things. Misuse of money or property, again, is an abuse. Neglect, failing to meet the basic needs. You neglect. You know what? Most of the times when we are working in hospital, I think Nima asked me the question, do we have to give shower every day to the clients in hospital? I said no. There are clients who have been left neglected from years. I think 2 years, 3 years, we had clients like that. They had no record of being in the hospital. And they had maggots. Maggots are flies. Those flies, they were in so much poop. They had nothing to eat. Nobody came and checked on them. Nobody knew are they did. Somehow something happened. The neighbors smell or call the 911. We got in. We had to break in the through the window. Got the patient out with maggots. That's a neglect from the family. The family members are alive, has 2 sons. Somebody lives somewhere, does not know. You will see cases like that. Bullying is not allowed. Sorry. Person or a group of people purposely, repeatedly says or does harmful things to someone. You can go back to your land. This is not your land. Stop bullying. Where are you from? In a different tone. That's bullying. You cannot bully. Neither you, neither your client. Physical means hitting. Some clients, they will start spitting on you. That's a kind of bullying because they are ABB patients. Aggressive behavior. Breaking belongings of others is a physical abuse. Verbal abuse, calling out names, threatening, people like that, teasing is one of the abuse. When it comes to social, we speak of rumors. If we heard a rumor, we carry it on. We start gossiping about them. We start to look down on them. Oh, she's like a foolish person. Think like this person is kind of a foolish person. So this is kind of bullying. It also accounts for this person. Somebody is a client, and he or she does get seizures. And when they get seizures, it's not all the time their whole body shakes. Sometimes they have seizures that they keep on staring at you. That's one of the it's a type of a seizure. They keep staring at you and they make such a face. We think they're foolish. This is bullying. Types of abuse is cyberbullying also, that we post pictures, we start to make social networking, we do it, we use what is it called, WhatsApp, Snapchat, blah blah blah. We can't harass these some clients in your, swear I'm not joking, they will put their camera on, go live. So I'm not getting care. They start. I have been here for 5 hours. They haven't been for 5 minutes. Just because they left the camera on live, they want to share it on the media that they were there for 5 hours in the emergency. I was not being seen by anybody. I was not being offered something. You will have cases like that. That's bullying. Right away, your supervisor needs to know the camera is on, the live situation is there, we get the security, you get out of the place. Right away, that patient goes. No matter how critical the patient would be, we have a right of act, the Indian Act that we talked about yesterday. I will go over with you in couple of days, coming days. He or she needs to leave the hospital. Start. No excuses. I know You are sick, we can help you, you can ask help, but you can go live saying, I didn't get care and they didn't do a. There are patients like that because they think when I go live, everybody would see the repetition and they would get scared of me. But that time you have to be mindful when you're taking care, don't say words that can go against you. Can you please stop? We can go like this, we can go live. If you need help, let us know. Sometimes you have to, kind of, what do I say? You have to play a game. With some clients, really, you have to play a game. So that is one of the things I want to say. Support workers are responsible for recognizing signs of abuse, which is BUT. Support workers are not qualified to judge whether the client, you can say whether the client is being abused or not, but you can always state that sign of abuse. In my patient in the morning, he had no or she had no bruises, but suddenly I realized she has bruises. The family member came in, let's keep an eye. Why? It's not just because she is morally down, she doesn't speak, she's silent, she's breaking out in tears, but she hasn't spoken to us. I'm not pretty sure what went wrong. Yeah. Immediately report that suspicious observation of abuse to your supervisor, but do not create a scenario of your own. Also be careful about that. Just that she got hit, you would say the son hit him or the daughter hit him. It can be their trail. Abusive relationships are complex. There is no single cause for the abuse. A person is more likely to be abusive if she has problems with alcohol or drugs, which is very common. If you see, my goodness sake, come and work with us at emergency. You would love it and you will hate it. When the people are on drugs or little kids at the age of 10 and 11, they are on drugs. They scream. Even 10 loudspeakers cannot scream that loud. Seriously, you want to give them naloxone so that their drug addiction goes and they get calm. But you know what they will yell? Are you giving me drugs? I don't want drugs. I don't. You have to put them in panels. You have to get those things. This not only the security, but the police will be with them that time. We have to first put restraints on them, penal restraints. Penal restraints are not soft restraints. There are two kinds of restraint. One is penal, one is soft. Soft is that if you are so healthy, you pull like this, it's just made up of cloth, cotton cloth, it can get ripped off. But the penal ones, they are strong, they have pins and they're tucked with pins. On one side, the pin is tucked in your hands and legs. The other side, it is tucked with the bed. So they scream, they yell, they want to notify other people in the workplace that they are kind of doing abuse. So those things are also, when these druggies, sometimes people are on drugs, and once they come out of that drug thing, be very careful, do not be very close to them because they don't realize, they don't want to be in that state out of drug, they might hit you. The supervisor, the doctor, the nurse will always remind you, hey, this person is now not going to be anymore under drug effect. So the first moment you go and approach, be careful. When you go in your clients, some clients, they carry knives, they carry different drugs with them. You have to be careful if you smell something. We do have clients, family member, friend, blah, 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 came in, handed over smoke to them. They go into the washroom, they do it there. Till that time it beeps, we also have to make sure about things. So not all drugs are smoke drugs. Some of them here are not, they don't produce smoke. and it's you who goes in after. You see, this patient has a history of this patient had a history of using or being on drugs, and if you smell something, you follow the patient. Once you bring the patient back into the bed, you go into the washroom and see if there's any smell. That means you suspect that he or she could get drugs wherever they are, wherever workplace you're working. Okay. Has a mental health disorder. Some people, they get abused because they have mental disorders, severe personality flaws, that they have temper, and we really abuse them, and then we say because she has a temper or they have a temper, they abuse us, vice versa. Abused child. Some people are abused when they were a child, during their childhood. Not just saying bad like things to your child to become a good child means abuse, but something that is unbearable is abuse. Hitting is abuse. Is going through periods of high stress, example, divorce. Some people, when they get divorced here, they go under stress. This is again abuse. They can file a case of abuse. Unemployment, poverty, and illness. If by chance you are not being given enough hours by your employer and you really were getting some hours, suddenly they dropped you off for no reason, it's an abuse. You can always claim. The cycle of abuse. Abuse often follows a pattern. Tension building phase is always a pattern before some abuse occurs. It can be suddenly someone will come and start abusing you. There will be something stress going on, some tension going on, something goes wrong, or a person has a history of having it before, and he or she, whenever she sees that thing or things like that happen, it just brings them, it changes their emotions. Abusive phase and honeymoon phase. Just like honeymoon enjoying, they're enjoying and suddenly they're in that phase. The period between abusive episodes gradually shortens over time and abuse becomes more frequent and intense. We say, really, some people, if they want to abuse or they are accused are suspect to abuse, it starts with slowly, it starts with word, it starts with one hit, it becomes husbands, they are abusing, or families, they bring caregivers from back home, they bring them here, they don't have a visa here. You will come across all those things, you will hear those stories. Start working, you will see such stories that you might only see on TVs. They bring them here, then they don't, because they are on that visa. Oh, I can't pay you today, I don't have money. Where would that person go? Because she's on that visa, she's hiding that she's working under the table. Again, okay, you're working under the table, I might not pay you $20, and you're working more than hours for me, and I'm only paying you $10. For others, they can have a break, but you can't have a break because you're working under the table. This is abuse. And we let them do this abuse for us because we work under the table. Imagine. So things like that, it does not. Why? Sometimes we work as caregivers under the table. It's not only about this, it has, some people work under the table, their mental and physical well-being is not fine, they come across you, they come to your place, you are the care, now you come and help them, you support them. That's why we need to know all these things. It's like this again. Now spousal, if your spouse is kind of abusing you, occurs between intimate partners in marriage or common. Here you will come across married people and common law, which is you're not married but you live in together as husband and wife. So this is also another relationship. Husband and man and man. This man acts as a man and this is his husband. You will come across that situation also. Mr. Smith, his husband is here. He's himself Mr. Smith. You can say she to her. Some people, is Mr. Smith. He does not want to be called as he wants to be called as she. One partner has power and control over the other, which is again abuse. Abuse may be physical, sexual, emotional, or financial. Usually, more than one type of abuse is present. That's true. Both men and women can be abused. It doesn't matter. Some women, they can abuse men very badly. There are also cases like that. Women often are more severely injured by abuse because women are very frail, they're fragile, they are more injured than men. Victims often choose to stay with partners because of fear, financial reasons, guilt, no place to go, concerns for their kids, and threat to harm. Sometimes we think, where would I go if so I keep on taking that abuse from my husband. What would happen to my kids if I leave the house? My kids, they might get abused. There will be nobody to take care of them. So we just take that abuse. Victim often believes that abuser will change and that relationship will work, which might or might not work. Child abuse, parents, guardians, or caregivers, they mistreat and neglect kids, occurs at every social level. Gross misuse of caregivers' position of trust and authority has lasting effects on child's social adjustment. These kids, they don't get sexually mixed up with other people. Abused kids are at a greater risk of becoming abusers and criminals. If you abuse someone and they have a kind of memory of being abused, those are the ones that can become criminals. Not only that, the abuse that we saw is on Aboriginal people, indigenous people. Every time you would see new flyers provided to you by your employers just to work on indigenous people, just because they were abused badly, the kids were abused, the families were abused, and we recognize their abuse now. Anybody from their group needs to be helped. They need financial, they need moral and physical support. Child abuse, types of child abuse is again physical abuse if you hit, if they get injured, emotional abuse if they are mentally or socially isolated from someone, and child neglect if you do not provide their basic needs. If ever they need something and they're not being provided with, that thing is again a child neglect. Situations that increase risk for child abuse is family crisis. If the family is having crisis, is divorced single mother, it can happen. Unemployment, it can happen. If it's poverty, lack of funds, lack of money, it can. Non-biological or transient caregivers living in the family, if it is family, not the real mother, it's a stepmother, a stepfather, it can happen. If it's a foster parent, it can happen. They don't accept them as kids, or kids do not accept them as parents. Isolation, no close family member or other relationships, no social support. They are by just themselves. Situations that increase risk for child abuse, caring for children with special needs. When kids, they have behavioral issues, when they have issues, mental issues, if they are have challenges, they are let's say OCD patients, if they have schizo, if they have any other mental illnesses. Failure to thrive due to caregiver neglect. People might not survive. Kids might not survive because of this abuse. Failure to thrive is called if you cannot survive. They cannot make things happen just because a caregiver can be the parent, guardian, or private caregiver is not taking care of them. A child is below the norms. What would happen? Malnutrition, overgrowth, ingrowth. They might not have a proper growth. They might be underweight, or their cognitive development, which is they cannot think or speak. They have problems with it. What can be done to prevent child abuse? Parenting education. You need to educate parents. Child abuse prevention programs. You need to attend let the kids know if it's an abuse. You use your fist, hold your arm. We see those all the time. We give those pamphlets and information to kids. When you are dealing with kids, we do not let the parents sit with them. When we are talking to the child, we are going to deal with the child alone. We ask them the scenario alone, so that if they want to disclose something, again, confidentiality, privacy. Remember those things. And if you saw the child with whom you spoke, he told you something, this happened, you don't go and tell it to the parents. Oh, I was at school, you first create a report. You ask the child, do you think I should share this piece of information with your parents? So please make sure that you have a permission to share things. Do not share of your own any piece of information. Older people are at a risk of all types of abuse. Most common types are financial and emotional abuse. Abusers are usually family members, as I already told you. Older persons, primary caregiver, those who are being taking care of them for a long time. Older persons do not report because they have that fear of abuser, or they have that fear that they would be moved to a facility. What happens? I live in my house, I get help from a private. Can you please? I get help from a private caregiver. And now I realize if I report this, I won't have anybody to take care of me, and my daughter will drop me off into a facility. I will lose my home. Just because I don't want to lose my home, I will keep going, accepting that abuse from that person. Things happen. Factors that might increase an older person's risk for abuse is stress. Taking care of an older adult can be extremely stressful. Yes, it is very, very stressful. You have to repeat yourself more than 10 times because they don't remember. You have to inform that, let them know about an information so many times. They're hard of hearing. It's not easy. And you try to help them, but just because you told them not to move, they move, things fell off. You had a basin of water just to clean, it fell over there. So now you have to not only change him, you have to also change the bed mate. Things can happen. They can go on a right way or they can go on a wrong way. That's why it can be ageism, bias discrimination between older adults, vulnerability, inadequate housing, racism, homophobia, disability, lack of access. If you don't have access to a community, if you don't have access towards justice, if you don't know how to approach as well. Abuse of clients by healthcare workers. Abuse can happen in facilities or in homes care setting by a member of healthcare team or by visitors. Clients are at a risk of all types of abuse, physical, sexual, and emotional. Clients are at a risk of all types of abuse, physical, sexual, emotional, and financial. For example, violating clients' rights by providing care against the person's will. I don't want to get changed. I don't want to get cleaned up. I don't want to wash, but we still do it. That is kind of abuse. Abuse often happens when the healthcare workers are under stress. I'm so stressed. My supervisor called me. I'm not doing the job well. Okay, I will feed you. No matter how it is. Shh. Yeah, be quiet, please. So no matter how, I try to feed this patient. So it's again an abuse. Your legal responsibility in reporting abuse is a crime. Please remember, it's a crime. Canadian law states that we must report if we suspect that a child, a person with mental or physical disabilities, or older people are being abused. Listen attentively, reassure the client, provide emotional support. Stay with the client. Encourage the client to tell you what happened in their own words. And always say the same words. If they told you, I got hit, the patient said, I got hit. Don't say the patient got hit. Told me she got hit. We don't change it. We only paraphrase it. We say the patient stated, I got hit. And we put it under commas. Your legal responsibilities in reporting abuse. Duty to report. We have a duty to report. All members of public and professional organization have a duty to report suspected abuse or neglect involving a child, a person, a physical or a mental challenge, or an older adult that is being abused by parent, adult child, caregiver, or guardian. The person reporting is protected from any kind of legal action, provided the report is not false. If it's not a false report, we will never disclose your name. Disclosures are not acceptable. I disclose I saw this abuse. They will not say who's the one who came and reported for you. I saw someone who was driving a car, hit the patient, hit the person. We do not report the name. We only report the scenario. Only when the thing is not correct, that time we need to report who told you. Because there is a legal action that needs to be taken against the person who reported falsely. Stay calm, do not show anger or disgust. Resume the client that you believe, reassure the client that you believe, assure the client you will follow up, notify your supervisor immediately. Provide client with emotional support no matter what they decide. Reporting abuse, suspected child abuse, report to Child Protection Services. That is, it's under, not under EI. This is another Canadian Services, Child Canadian Services, Service Center. You have to report that. There's a number for that. We give it at hospitals also. Consult with your supervisor and get advice before you make a report. Failing to report child's abuse can result in fines or imprisonment. If you see a report, or if you see that there was an abuse with the child and you did not report, you might also get a fine. Suspected older patients abused. All provinces and territories have law that require healthcare workers to report witnessed or suspected abuse. Be sure to write down your observation, including as many details as possible. Know your employer's policy and the laws. Do not go against them, please. Mentally capable older people can make their own decision. If I am capable of myself and I know what I am doing, I have a right not to report my abuse. So that also you have to keep in mind. Some people, they don't want to report just because they have a right not to report. How to report abuse? Provide the alleged victim's name, address, phone number, age, and gender. Provide the alleged abuser's name, address, phone number, and relationship to the victim. Also, just the fact, provide description of abuse or neglect, suspicious and evidence that How do you suspect it is an abuse? Just because every visit this patient has bruises after the family leaves. Number one. Number two, the patient always seems to be depressed. So we also have to give that pattern. We cannot just one time something happened. It might be the patient was the family was helping the client and he hit the bed. There's a bruise, and we'll say it's abuse. We have to look into clues. We have to dig. We have to keep an eye. If things keeps on going, keep on going, keep on going, then we just create a report for ourselves and we hand it over to our supervisor. Where do we go for access? For kids help phone number, I told you there's a phone number 1-800-668-6868. Child Welfare Agency, Service Canada. It's called Service Canada. You can call Service Canada. You will get a report saying press 0 for maternity, press 1 for EI. That thing there also you can go and press your number. Police department, hospital, mental health center, distress center, and other community service organizations that can provide counseling and support. Abuse of healthcare workers, caregivers are also at a risk of abuse from the clients. Most of the time, caregivers are also a source of abuse. Families or other members of the healthcare team, clients who have mental disorders and dementia, clients who are addicted to substances, who are using drugs and alcohol a lot of times. They do abuse their caregivers a lot. Those who have a history of abusive behavior, as I mentioned, ABB, clients who are being placed in restraint, those who need restraint, soft, chemical, or penal. Chemical is again medications. We do also give patients medications to sedate them so that they sleep, they calm down. That's called chemical restraint. Clients who are being played, okay, and employers. Sometimes your employer is also an abuse because they want you to do things which are not even in your scope of practice and you don't get paid for those things. Abuse of healthcare workers. Never ignore or accept abuse. If abuse occurs, discuss it with your supervisor, put in writing, keep records. Another thing, whenever you see something or you state something, always send written report saying you want to speak to your supervisor about another co-worker. Always email. If you say I came to your office and she tomorrow ignores because she likes this person, where is the proof? Make sure we always say what is not documented is not done. If you provided care, you did not document, it's not done. Even if you did not do, but you documented, something happens. Just now, I will give you an example. Just now, I got into the patient's room and I said, oh, I see this patient is alive. I went in everybody's room. All my patients are breathing. Suddenly, but I did not report or write anywhere, all safety check done. Think about it. In 5 minutes, when I turn back, one of the patient is already passed away. How will I prove I went into that room? And when I went, it was he or she was breathing. Just because I did not say safety check done. When I say safety check done, I would say, oh, you know what? See, I did my safety check. That time she was breathing. Another thing. That's kind of a thing. Okay, another report. I changed the patient. Now, patient had a BM, pedicure done, brief changed, patient sitting up in the chair. If she had a BM and this person wants to go against me, I had a report because on that chart, you do chart time 11:45. Night time, when you are reporting me, it's 12 o'clock. It's 11:46. I reported already this was done and this was. Reposition. I went into the patient and I checked she was there. Patient in the room watching TV. 11:45. Now 11:46, the patient passed away. At least till 11:45, she was there. I went in. I did my check. I did my thing. So make sure always that we document. If you don't document, it's not done. You help the patient. Every day she had a BM. Now 3 days are done, or she did not have a poo-poo. Let's go for a situation which goes wrong. You helped a patient 3 days in a row. She didn't have any poo-poo on your shift. The other nurse, the other support worker, she didn't have it. Because the patient is getting too many pain medication, always the side effect of pain medications is constipation. Suddenly the patient became confused. She is now so confused. It's out of control. We don't know what went wrong. The doctor came in. शायद इसको जानी पानी दे दो. Other. So what happened? The doctor asks the nurse, when was the last time this patient had a BM? We have no records. Other. So we have no records. Now, are we gonna call you on your day off? No. So that's why making it clear, whatever you see, whatever changes you have, please and please document. When we talk about sexual abuse, be professional. Ask the person before you touch, as I inform the patient what you will do. Hey, Mr. Smith, Mrs. Smith, I'm going to give you a wash. We'll wipe you off from head to toe. That's how we do. Tell the person those behaviors are unacceptable and uncontrolled. If you feel unsafe, leave the room, leave the house. You always have the right. Discuss the situation with your nurse in charge. This kind of abuse is when you work in client's house. If you see, you go to the client's house, the client comes and kind of is always hugging, putting the hand on you, you get to know your arms should start to get alert. There is kind of sexual abuse. You will remind the client of the policy that please, no more touching. Touching is not allowed. I'm not comfortable with the touch. I want you not to touch. Sexual harassment. Again, sexual comments, gestures, threats, and suggestions. If the behavior offends you or makes you uncomfortable, it is a harassment. You could come from client, family, or co-worker. Tell the person firmly and politely that it's unacceptable. You tell them, please, I don't want you to touch me. Fine. Your client might tell you, I don't like touching. Why did you touch me? So you should understand this client does not like touch. Discuss it with your supervisor. You may need to keep a private documentation. All the employers are required to prevent sexual harassment and have policies on how to deal with this workplace. Sometimes your clients, they just want, oh, I peed. Every 2 minutes they pee. They do it deliberately because you should give them a wash. You also have to pick up signs from them. Please, you go and report it to your client, to your supervisor, and let them know, hey, you know what? This person has a bizarre behavior, and I feel like I don't feel comfortable giving this person a wash. Why don't we ask? We always have male and female nurses to help them. If it's a male and it comes from male, if it's a female, it comes from a female. So please Always keep an eye on those things. That is also a kind of sexual harassment because they want you to touch and get. That's when it comes from them. Clean, 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 clean. Workplace bullying, it manifests as an act of verbal comment that could occur and hurt. We need to, what we do, we isolate the person. It can be obvious or subtitle. Examples of workplace bullying is sometimes from your co-worker repeatedly making up a fun of your hijab, could be inappropriate words, inappropriate appearance, could be, oh, you know what? I'm not meant to do this. You're the one who needs to do this. They might say all those things. You should always let your supervisor know. Important actions, keep a factual journal. That means a time and date when it happened. Keep copies of any letters, memos, emails, etc. And that contains that. If they ever emailed you, they message you wrongly, those things. Report harassment to the appropriate person. Of, that means to your supervisor or to the manager. Sometimes it's not the manager, it is PCC, patient care coordinator. You might have to connect with her. That's all. Are we okay here? Any questions?
Like, can we use body cams? Like, are we allowed or are we supposed to use body cams?
Sometimes not. It depends. Depends on
The workplace?
Yes, workplace policy.
Okay.
This is always some people just because they have, even the clients do that, and they're allowed to do it just because they were raped, things like that happen.
Do we have to take permission from the supervisor to use it?
Yes, you can do it. Otherwise, again, breach of confidentiality.
Yep. Yeah, that's
So
on.
you always have to remember confidentiality plays a very important role. If you are, it can be done just because you want to share it. How do I know what's the purpose? There should be a reason for every single thing that needs to be done. Without
What's a normal practice, like people use it?
No.
Okay.
Any other question? Are you comfortable? Did you understand? Was it too much for today? Don't get scared. You might think, oh, we talked about abuse, the last part of it. We also have talked about good things. So because this is abuse, this is neglect, it doesn't mean only this is a part of it. There are people who really love and appreciate the work that healthcare system provides them. Once their families are there, you will see every day different memos, Tim Hortons, cards, coffees coming out for you on your way, just because she helped my mom. When the patients, when the family's loved one passes away, just because you were so nice, she was always talking about it. This is all for you. There are people who appreciate the kind work that you guys perform, that we do, and there are also those people who kind of try to abuse. So it's up to us what we allow and what we don't allow. If I don't know how to stand and speak for myself, I'm letting people to abuse me. I'm giving them a chance to neglect. But all the way, and also sometimes we ourselves do not recognize when it is an abuse. Talking about why we don't recognize, we need money, right? I'm being asked every shift that, oh, can you do an overtime? Can you do an overtime? I have already done 16 hours of work overtime. Remember this thing. I don't myself recognize I am abusing myself. I did 16 hours of overtime. Now I've been asked again, can you work some more hours? I'm myself an abuser for this. And my employer is trying to abuse me on top of it. Just because he wants. If things go wrong, you will not be covered. Because there is always a policy which is called fatigue policy. You cannot work more than 40 hours a week. If you work more than 40 hours a week, if things happen wrong, you get into an injury, you're not covered. And not all the time injuries can be small injuries. Some injuries can be disable injuries. So always make sure, do not abuse yourself. Recognize the abuse that comes from your own self.
We're already working for 60 hours a week.
I know
Not like we don't have the week thing.
Yes, it's just because we have that genetic system in ourselves, our mind
Yep.
set up and our mind, we can work, but not all people here can work. That's why they know. They look at your skin and they try to abuse you. Just because they know you need money and this skin is not white skin, they try to abuse you. Do not allow, do not give yourself a chance to be abused. Make sure you have time off. Make sure if you are burnt out, if you are stressed out, use the resources, make use of them. There are resources where you can go if you're covered to go for therapies, physiotherapies, massage, and other things. Make use of those things. Take your vacation. Do not work on your vacation just because it will pay you double time. Try to take days off. This is also a kind of abuse we do it on ourselves. Because I know vacation time is paid. And then if I work there short, I work on vacation, I will be paid 3 times. Yes. But you never will get this vacation back again.
We have a company policy of working 14 days, whether it's white or black.
No, when you work in the healthcare system, you can even work on your vacation days. Trust me.
That's what.
And then they will pay you 3 times.
Yep.
Because you get double paid and then you have your own actual vacation pay, which means you are getting paid 3 times. And most of us look back on that. But think where we are landing up. Are we getting burned out? Yes. Are we able to perform with a straight mind, with a happy mind? No. And that stress you might bring up into your family, you might bring up on your loved ones, which can break relationships.
We should have been born in Canada.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
If there's anything, again, coming to the point, if you need any clarification, if there's anything that you didn't understand, or there are questions that come up in your mind, feel free to ask me in your next session. We'll talk about it.
Okay. We have a session tomorrow?
Tomorrow is Saturday. No session on Saturday and Sunday. We'll see each other on Monday.
Monday.
Okay?
Yep.
And I will let them. I think Monday is also a holiday. I'm not pretty sure whether because that's an abuse for myself. I work at the house, so I'm not pretty sure what about the school. So
Oh, I'm getting paid for the start day,
yes,
so that's okay.
Start.
That's double time for me.
Double time off, yeah. So Monday is a double pay. I believe you guys should be off on Monday, but let's double check.
Okay.
It's double pay, okay? Have a wonderful day ahead. Take care of yourself, okay?
Thank you.
Bye-bye. Thanks.
I have a question.
Yes, my dear.
So Tuesday is going to be online, right? Or do I have to come in?
Tuesday, we will send you an email. Because I'm not pretty sure what and how it will go. Could be we will do it online.
Okay, because there's a new student that just came in and I seen it.
Yes, that's why let's see how it will be. I believe it should be in class, but I myself I'm not feeling well. I had some flu on going flu. So we will, if it's better, if I will be better, we'll notify them. Or I'll notify them on Monday, and we'll come into class. But we'll let you know on Monday. Hopefully Tuesday I will do this Zoom class.
Okay.
No problem.
Okay, thank you.
Take care. See you. Bye bye.
Thank you, ma'am.
Bye bye. Take care. My